Hey everybody, this is Nick Baldwin, and today I'm being joined by one of the hottest prospects in the UFC bantamweight division, Adrian Yanez, who picked up another big win in the UFC over the weekend, defeating Davey Grant by a split decision at UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas. Adrian, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Everything's great. Great fight. It's been a great weekend, man. It's been fun. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Appreciate you doing this. It's good to catch up. How are you feeling physically? It was a good fight. It was fight of the night, tough fight. And of course, your ear gave you some problems afterward as well. How are you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling good. The only thing that's throbbing is my ear, pretty much, man. I still have like a little bit of this. Like you can still see like it's squishy, but it actually had filled back up on Sunday. So I've been having to use magnets to keep it closed. And I just took them off just now because man, it's bugging me. So, yeah, I might have to put them on here back soon because I don't want this fluffiness to fill back up with blood and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's been bugging me.
And so, like, for those unaware, like, I mean, any MMA fan knows that cauliflower ears are a thing that happens often if you're grappling a lot, something like that. But your ear, like, kind of just ballooned up, like, towards the end of the fight, did it not?
Yes. Yeah.
And so, like, what happened?
Whenever I was shoulder rolling, I actually kind of went back to go watch the fight a little bit more, and it was whenever I was rolling, my head kind of stayed in the same spot. So whenever I rolled, like he was clipping my ear every single time, and he caught a good one in the last like minute, and that's whenever my ear blew up. It was like during that with some of those exchanges, but yeah, it's like whenever I was rolling, I didn't really move my head down. I didn't duck my head. I just kind of just was starting to roll this way. I got lazy with it and it just started clipping my ear, and that's how it just blew up.
And it happened quick. Like, I mean, people weren't looking for at your ear before the fight necessarily.
No, no, it happened literally within that last minute. That last minute really like kind of got me. I was like, damn it, like because the whole fight, if you were looking at my ear, it just it's good. But then all of a sudden that last minute comes around, you're just like, oh crap, that's when it happens. It's like, oh yeah.
Must have been kind of annoying because it's just like if you get cut, like you have a perfect fight for 14 minutes and all of a sudden, like big gash across your eyebrow last minute, you're like, damn, I got to worry about that now. Kind of same thing.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't feel it until after the fight. Then I was like, oh, I was like, oh shit, like that's whenever I started looking up at the clock because I felt my ear heavy for a second. Then I was like, oh, that's what it is. I got cauliflower ear. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was that.
Life of a fighter. As I said, fight of the night, another bonus for you. It was a great fight. A lot of people thought this was going to be a good fight going in, and it was. How do you feel about how it all played out 2 days later?
Man, I feel like it played out really good. I felt like just like the fact that this fight kind of pretty much was destined to be fight night. It could have went crazier, honestly, but I never got out of character. I had to stay in character the whole entire fight because if I got out of character, I'd be waking up to the doctor being like, "Hey, you good? Like, how many like the lights and all that stuff?" So I definitely didn't want to be waking up like that. So I had to stay in character, be technical. Couldn't start swinging wild with him, and so like, man, the fight was phenomenal. But looking overall, I just felt like, man, I was able to showcase a lot in that fight.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. It was your first decision in the UFC, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, and of course you know that. What's the main thing you were able to show in your opinion? Like over 15 minutes, rather than a quick knockout like your other ones, or I guess one was a third round, but you've had some quick wins, and this one did go the distance. What did you show the most, do you think?
Yeah, honestly, did I have head movement from my last fight to this fight? Like everybody was saying that I didn't have head movement, but because Randy was able to pick me off with a jab for the longest in that first round whenever I fought him. So I was like, no, I wanted people to know that I do have head movement and just kind of just like, yeah, no, I can show that and I can stick to a game plan. And I usually would want to finish, but since honestly Davey's just a tough guy, I hit him with the hard shots in the first, and I knew since I didn't put him down with any of those, I was just like, all right, let me change how much power I'm giving him. Let me just hit him with some hard pop shots, but nothing like where I'm trying to knock his head completely off, like how he was trying to do with me the whole entire 15 minutes. But I just wanted to make sure I was sharp and head movement, and I was sharp.
Going in, knowing how tough Davey Grant is, did you think you would be able to knock him out, or were you kind of thinking, hey, this one might actually go the distance, this might be a tough one?
Yeah, no, I had both. Like I thought both. Like I honestly was thinking that I know who Davey Grant is, and I knew he was going to be the guy that like was going to go 15 minutes, and that's what I was saying the whole entire time. I was like, if I knock out Davey Grant, like that solidifies me as like a top contender because no one is able to knock him out, and it just kind of just showed me like, hey, like he is who he is. Like Davey Grant's a hard guy to put away. He's not going to go away easy. He's just not going to fall over and let you do whatever you want. He's going to fight the whole entire time. So I already knew. So like, of course, I thought I was going to knock him out, but I always knew in the back of my mind that he's tough enough to take it.
Yeah. What was up with that 30-27 Grant scorecard?
That one had me going nuts, and I immediately was kind of just like I got pissed off. I was angry for most of the day. Like I was angry for the rest of the day because I was just like, dude, what was that judge looking at? That annoyed the shit out of me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you were able to not let it like take away from the win at all because you got the win, and we know that some judges aren't that good at their jobs, but it still must have, like, I saw your reaction and you're just like, what? Like you weren't expecting it at all, obviously.
No, man, and what makes it even worse is that judge came over from boxing, and this fight was predominantly a boxing fight, and I'm just like, oh, now I know where boxing gets their screwy decisions. So, yeah, no, I was really upset, and I was just like, oh yeah, it was Tony Weeks. Okay, I got you. So yeah, definitely, it was like I was looking at that, I was like, yeah, nah, it shouldn't make sense, but it makes sense.
Yeah. I saw after the fight, your manager put up a photo of your team at dinner with Davey's team, and both you guys were there. How did that happen?
Man, honestly, he hit me up and was like, "Hey, Davey Grant wants to go out to eat, and I was gonna see like if you'd be okay with going, like him coming." I was like, "Yeah, of course, no, 100%. I think that'd be great. Like, I have no problem with Davey coming." It's like, "Yeah, we can go out to eat." Chose a Mexican spot. Man, Davey's such a great guy. He's such a good guy. So it was really really cool just to just kind of just hang out with him because he's a good person, man. So it was, of course, like just hanging out with him was pretty fun because. And like, there's not too many people you can punch in the face, and the next day just go out there and just have a really good time. And even before the fight, he was a good guy. Like, and there's not a lot of people who will be good to you, be a good guy, and like kind of be cool with you, like fight week, and then also be good like after a fight. Like the only exception with that rule is Randy Costa, the guy that I fought before. So it's kind of one of those things that like, man, like. It was cool. It was really, really cool. He's a really great guy, and man, honestly, like we should be friends, honestly.
Any part of it weird? It doesn't sound like it, but I mean, for most people, it might be a little awkward, but it doesn't sound like it was really for you guys.
Nah, it wasn't. It wasn't the only thing I was telling him, like, dude, look at what you did to my ear. He laughed about it. He's like, look at what you did to my nose. I was like, okay. Well, I'd rather have your nose than my ear, so it doesn't. It's like, yeah. But it was fun to laugh at.
Had you ever experienced something like that with an opponent like earlier in your career? I know you and Randy, as you mentioned, like were kind of having fun before and after the fight, but have you ever like gone out for dinner after a fight with an opponent?
Not dinner,
or
but
anything similar.
Yeah, something similar. Like I had a beer with one of my opponents before. He was a cool guy. He was a really, really cool guy.
Nice. I know I saw after the fight as well, you went up to Aljamain Sterling, had a quick moment with him. I know you guys trained recently or fairly recently. What was it cool to see him after the fight?
Oh yeah, it was cool. Like it was honestly pretty cool because like as soon as I walked in the cage in my corner, he was like right behind my corner side of the fence. So like immediately whenever I saw looked to my left, whenever I walked in, because I started the red corner was on my right whenever I was walking to my left, and like the person I see is Aljamain Sterling, and he's like hyper focused on the fight. Like man, like he was waiting to corner one of his fighters and all that stuff. And I was just like, that was cool. That was really cool to me. So I really appreciated that, and it was really cool because to have his support was pretty cool. Because like I was with the guy for a week. Like day and night. Like man, we spent hours with each other like in the days and shit. So it's like it was pretty cool because man, just it was nice because man, like I said, like he's from New York, but he was in Vegas and he was there to support me, and that was pretty cool.
How did that happen? You training with him? He flew you out to New York, correct?
Yeah, flew me out to New York. He wanted to get some looks from a boxer because at the time he was scheduled to fight Peter, and the UFC doctors pulled for that fight, but I was still out there working with him and training and everything. So that's pretty much how that went because he was like, yeah, I wanted to get some looks and flew me in, and yeah, that's how that went. Like he reached out to me and everything and was like, hey, you mind? And I was like, nah, not at all. It's 100%. Like I'm cool with helping out anybody any given time.
As an up-and-coming fighter in a division, what is it like to train even just for a week with the champion of your division? I don't even mean in a weird way, like, oh, I might fight you one day, this is awkward, but just in a way that, hey, I'm getting looks from the best in my division. This is pretty great.
Yeah, it was cool because I've never seen a champion how they run their camp. Like I've always it's always the up-and-comer guy who's doing what, like this and that. So I wanted to see how a champ runs their camp, and and that's where I learned the most is just to see how he would do things. Like he was really big on warming up. He was taking care of your body type of deal, and just like kind of like he also kind of be like, dude, like not everything has to be so like stressful, like and just be like so pent up, like hey, like you can relax a little bit. You can have you can do some stuff in moderation, like. You like, hey, have a beer. Like, don't go out there and have go get wasted. But man, have one. Like, just like one on a Saturday or one after a training session. Like, and go about. Like, he's just like, hey, like I thought everything was gonna be like, no, pinpoint this, pinpoint that. No, it's like, hey, like you have to go with what your body's feeling, right? Like he was really cool about letting me know. It was like, hey, you have to make sure that you're good, your mental state is good, and also that like you're not just so strict on the schedule that you're taking time away from like yourself, and that has two meanings, like mentally and physically. So that was really cool to see and really cool to hear, and also it was a learning experience for me because I got to see where a lot of my gaps were, and then it helped me out to see what I need to do. So it was really, really cool just to be a part of that.
Could you see Sterling as a main training partner down the road?
I could definitely see him as me continuing to work with him and being a training partner. For sure. Definitely. He's a really great guy, and he knows how to coach, and he also knows how to give tips. He's really smart on the fight game, so like just being able to mesh heads with him is really, really cool. So yeah, I have a love and respect, admiration for him. So I would that would be pretty cool. I even told him before I left, it's like, hey, that fight gets rebooked with Peter. I was like, I'm a call away, bro. Like, don't hesitate. I can come out.
And what did he say? He was in?
Yeah, he just let me know. He's like, I'll let you know. Like, because this is whenever it was Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. So I told him,
right.
He's like, we'll see how the fight goes. So I was like, all right, cool. I was like, even if you want me to come in to help you out with Corey, that's fine too. So he's like, yeah, we can definitely do that. So and then also too, we've been in contact with each other. We've been texting each other and everything. So it's like it's pretty much like we're cool. We're not gonna go out there and like it's not gonna be like, oh, he came out training 1 week, now I'm never gonna come back again. So no, I told him, I was like, hey, can I bring like a training partner or two with me next time? He's 100% cool with that.
4 bonuses and 4 UFC fights. Not many people can say that. I think you're on a short list with like Justin Gaethje, Lando Venata, maybe a few others. Good company. Is that like I guess it's not really a record, but is that a stat like you kind of take pride in?
Oh yeah, like I think that's really, really cool, man. And I only want to keep piling those up because, man, that's a good stat. It's a good stat that pays very well too. So I would really love that. I would also really love that. And then also, but I was really aiming for the record for the bantamweights. I would be the only bantamweight to start the UFC career off with 4 KOs. Right now, I wanted that record so bad because I actually found that record out on the day of my fight. I remember seeing this. Man, that would be so cool because I would be able to etch myself in the history books and of the UFC. I was like, man, I would really have wanted that, but It didn't happen, but I get the four bonuses, so I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully, only in the bantamweight division, 4 straight since
Yeah,
Speed's on.
it might be. So are you tied with someone else for like 3 straight KOs to start your career?
I think so. I think the only other person I think is probably
Might be Garbrandt. No, I don't think Garbrandt. He had a decision in there.
yeah, I don't know who. I don't know who. Like we'd had to
Anyways,
see, but for sure I wanted it because I just saw that stat. I saw that stat pop up. I saw that stat pop up, so I was like, man, that would be cool. But also, I'm like, I think I'm tied fourth for or third for most consecutive knockouts. I think it's and I'm solidified there. So I'm like I'm number 3. So it was Francis Ngannou, then it was Chris Dawkins, and I think it's me and what's it called Tai Tuivasa too. So I think that's I can work with that.
I was gonna say earlier that like having the streak of bonuses, being able to say that is cool, but probably the money is a bit nicer, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, I definitely want the money.
Someone on Twitter I saw, I think going into the fight, just maybe the weigh-in day or sometime before the fight, said that Davey Grant was like the good next opponent for you, sort of the right progression, fourth fight in the UFC. Do you feel that way as well? Like, have the matchmakers done a good job of, giving you gradual steps up, but maybe not too high of an opponent, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that was perfect. I think the fight with Davey Grant was perfect. It was perfectly placed, perfectly planned, and just at a perfect time too, because it's right before Thanksgiving, so I get to eat. So no, I think it was a really great matchup set up by Sean Shelby in the UFC. So uh it was just it was just perfect. I really loved that matchup, especially because I have a lot of respect for Davey, and I thought he was a really great opponent, and it's overall I think it was just perfect.
I think, as we kind of talked about earlier, toughest fight of your UFC career so far, just it being a decision, not a knockout. Is there one thing you maybe learned about yourself, your skill set, anything like that from this fight particularly?
Oh yeah, I just need to make sure I go more to the body a little bit more instead of constantly just looking for the head. But no, it I feel like that fight didn't teach me a lot, but it was just a fun fight for me. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. There was some talk about Sean O'Malley afterward. He said on Twitter that he's apparently down to fight you in March. He, of course, has a fight with Raulian Paiva in December, so he'll have to get past him first. But I'm wondering, like, that's a fight you clearly would be interested in. Sean O'Malley is a guy, big name, and a lot of hype around him. He's not wanting to take certain fights that might not be good for him. Do you think he'd actually agree to fight you?
Yeah, I think so. I think stylistically he loves that fight because I'm not a wrestler. I'm not going to go out there and try to take him down. As you can see, he's only calling out other strikers. And honestly, I think stylistically wise, I think this is perfect for me and him. I'm not going to stop coming forward, and he wants a guy who's going to stand up with him because he doesn't want to deal with anybody who's going to wrestle. So it's like I think it's perfect for the both of us. And then also too, I don't mind this because I'm gonna get that Sean O'Malley rep. I go out there and knock Sean O'Malley out, all the money, all the Twitter, all the followers, start come with me. So I'm the next big thing. So that helps me out in that sense. So yeah, of course I'd love to knock out Sean O'Malley, but yeah, a lot of people act like he's not that thing, but like not the guy, to fight. But he's our version of Conor McGregor. So of course, yeah, of course I would want to fight him.
So then, is that like the ideal next fight for you? Is there anyone better, or is what you're wanting right now, Sean O'Malley, maybe first quarter of 2022?
Yeah, it definitely depends because I've already stated like in many interviews before that I wanted to take like 3 months off for sure. Like I'm probably not gonna be training for 3 months because of course like baby on the way in December, January. I'm not sure. I'm still gonna be dealing with the baby and everything, still dealing with like the newborn stages and everything, and then February I have a couple fighters fighting. Leo Mano Martinez is gonna be fighting on the same card as Robert Whitaker and Israel Adesanya, so I'm gonna be coaching during that time. So realistically, I wanted to come back in April, May, so I
Okay.
can make sure I have like a good training camp. But he was saying March, so but he wants March for sure, then I'm not going to be fighting in March. I want to fight in April or May. So if he wants to fight me, he would have to wait till April or May because he's
Okay.
calling me out. So he has to adhere to my he has to adhere to my stipulations.
Gotta adhere to the bonus king of the bandit division, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There was you tweeted, I think, the day before the fight, how the UFC staff wanted you to make your nickname Apex Adrian Yanez, and I don't know if you're gonna go with that. I saw Brian Kelleher respond to you. I don't know if you saw this. He said you should go with. I kind of like this. Yo, Adrian Yanez. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I tweeted back. I was like, God damn, that's a good one, man. That's a really, really good one. He came with a really, really good one. I was, and then he put up a video. He was like of him being Bruce Buffer announcing it, and I was like, damn, I just might have to go with it because I was like, yo, because what's actually really funny is that one year my mom and dad gave me a birthday present that it just said from a line from Rocky just saying, yo, Adrian, and I was like, that was the coolest thing. But that's a really cool just to be like, yo, Adrian Yanez, like I thought that's pretty cool. But if I did knock out Davey Grant, I was gonna solidify my nickname as Mr. Knockout. But also too, if I knock out my next opponent for sure, it might be solidified Mr. Knockout. But, I'm the king of the Apex for now, so I like any nicknames. I'm not gonna give myself a nickname, but yeah, I'm 5-0 in the Apex, so I don't really know who else is 5-0 in the Apex. So I think if I'm definitely that guy, then I'm that guy.
I actually wanted to ask you about fighting at the Apex and doing all your UFC and Contender Series fights there so far. As a younger fighter, especially, like you don't have anything to compare it to because you, unlike some fighters before COVID who traveled around all the time, fought in different arenas, you only know the Apex. Like, do you feel like that has been sort of helpful just because it helps you get into a routine? You know what to do now. Like your debut was one thing, but now you're comfortable. Like, is that a somewhat of a benefit?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a benefit. Like for me, it's so much easier to just go. Like I'm so used to it. Like that's where I fight now. It's like every time I go there, it's like, okay, this is what I do. I'm here. All right, I know exactly how this rolls. I know where all the rooms are at. I know I need to go. It's like, oh, that's where my interview rooms are gonna be at. All right, cool. I go there. I go there. I go there. I can literally like know where I'm gonna be walking to next, and just like yeah, it's like home. It's like a second home to me. So of course, yeah, it's definitely a benefit for me because I feel like I have home court advantage whenever I'm there.
Yeah. You mentioned a second ago that you're expecting your first kid in December. Congratulations, early congratulations. Of course, that's a huge deal. How are you feeling? Like, I don't know, in the weeks leading up to, are you nervous or are you, of course, excited? What's sort of going through your head as we get to that point?
Oh man, I'm excited. I gotta start putting up the what's it called? All the like baby stuff up, man. I gotta make the crib. I gotta make the bassinet. I gotta like start putting up all these things, and I was putting everything off because I was training for the fight, and now like I get excited for the fight. Now I get to get excited to putting all these things together. Just painted the walls and painted one wall in his room, a blue. So it's like I'm super excited because like man, like I get a mini me, so that's pretty cool.
Is it kind of like you don't really get a ton of time to rest after this fight? Like you go from fight mode to pre-dad mode, so to speak.
That's exactly also another reason why I want to take some time off. And I got to get my mental right for the baby. So my baby's there, I can worry about my baby.
Yeah. Rumor has it the UFC might be back in Houston at the Toyota Center sometime in 2022. I know, like, I feel like I heard they were targeting February, so I don't know if that happens, and of course it might not work out, but how special would that be to be on a card in the UFC in Houston at the Toyota Center? What would that mean?
Man, it would mean definitely, it would mean a lot, honestly. I'm sorry. Yeah, it would mean a lot. Like man, because I built like my career in Houston before the UFC, and like that's all where almost all my fights took place at. So yeah, I would definitely love to go back to UFC. It's like my hometown. Like Houston is just so big to me. I really love it, and I can't wait. I can't wait to perform and fight in front of my hometown. But if it's in February, man, I've already dedicated myself to being to training and everything, and then if if I'm hearing the rumors correctly, that's the one that's going to have Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker, and my training partner's fighting on that one, and I'm not going to take myself away from him being able to fight on that, or like me like being the coach. You know, I got to be there for him 100%, just like how he was for me this weekend. So I got to make sure that I'm there for them. So I can pull myself away and just be okay with fighting at the T-Mobile Arena Theater, T-Mobile Stadium, fighting on another big pay-per-view card. I don't mind that at all either.
Yeah. Well, Adrian, thanks so much for the time. As always, appreciate it. And congratulations again on the big win over the weekend.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.